What is up, guys? Welcome back to Conversation, episode number 62. Today I have a very special guest, Jovaughn.
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
So he's gonna be telling me we're actually we kind of worked together for a little bit on a couple of stuff, like some couple of shoots and stuff like that. He is in the social media platform, so he's gonna get into all that and also a little bit about Black history and a lot of stuff that we weren't taught in schools that they can. He's gonna let me know because a lot of the stuff I was kind of shocked by, and you go and you can even look it up yourself, Google it or ChatGPT or Grok it, whatever you want to do, but verify it, and it's pretty crazy. But first of all, thank you for coming, Jovaughn.
Thank you, man.
And yes, sir. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, who are you, and how can people find you if they want to see your work?
Yeah. So if you want to see my work, it's on Instagram. Newlane Studios. I'm born and raised in the Bronx, New York.
Okay.
Been living in Houston going on about 5 years now. Growing up in the Bronx, and I got into music videos first. And I was doing music videos for a little while, and I had stopped doing music videos because my last music video I did, it was I was doing trap videos for people. Okay. And I was doing this video, and these group of guys was in the kitchen, and they had like SKs and AK-47s, and they bouncing around in the video. And I'm sitting here, and I got my daughter sitting in the living room, and I'm sitting there like, what the heck am I doing? Yeah. Like, if one of these go off, it's over.
So for the people that don't know what a trap music is or what that type of culture, what is a trap?
So nowadays they call them drill music. So okay. It's like hardcore rap music.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah. So
what examples of like types of songs would be of like?
So 21 Savage songs.
Okay.
Lil Baby.
Okay.
His music. Chef G. His music, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. So then I needed a more. Plus, it's not really lucrative. You do a video here and there. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a little extra pocket change. It's not nothing to pay some bills and stuff with.
Right.
So then when I moved to Houston, I was like, you know what, I need to change the game a little bit.
Yeah.
So then I got into marketing and stuff.
Okay.
So I actually own a bakery called My Mini Bakes first.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was doing pretty good. Like I started out, I took a week vacation off of work, and I used that week to learn marketing, learn how to build websites and stuff. And I was just like locked in, and then I just built that company. Because my youngest daughter's mom wanted to work from home. So I was like, you know what, let me create a job for you. And that's how the bakery got started. So she was baking cookies and brownies, and I was doing the marketing and stuff.
And are you still doing that, or is it?
No, okay. we had stopped because it got too overwhelming.
Okay.
Yeah. So when Valentine's Day came, I went to Walmart, and you know how Walmart has those big shelves of strawberries.
Yeah.
I sold out 2 different Walmarts of all their strawberries.
Oh wow.
Yeah, for Valentine's Day.
Dang.
All their chocolates, all that stuff. It got crazy.
At that point, you probably need some employees, not just by yourself,
Yeah. So it was really busy from that, and then trying to do the deliveries and stuff, and buying gift bags and wrappings, and they wanted Valentine's Day cards put in there, and people wanted me to deliver them to their wives and stuff at work. So it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I was like, plus I had put products in like 7 different gas stations and stuff.
Okay.
So it was plus the online stuff.
Yeah.
So I had all the local regular ones that people just wanted deliveries to their house. Then I had the gas station. Then I was doing online. So it was just really busy.
Man, so y'all pretty much needed some help.
Yeah.
Did you ever try to find anybody, or was it?
Not really.
No.
It was just
it's tough, right?
It was a lot.
Yeah. It's tough finding good help,
Yeah, and then people was like, oh, we want cupcakes and stuff for our birthdays, and then people want to smash cakes for their little babies and stuff. So then we started doing that, and it was booming.
Yeah.
But it was getting crazy.
Yeah.
And then my first catering order, some lady wanted $900 worth of. So I was doing these like Oreo cheesecakes, these little Oreo cheesecakes, and she wanted like $900 worth of that for her job.
Yeah.
And I stayed up like all night.
Yeah.
It was
Dang, I
crazy.
could only imagine. And
Yeah,
then
I was exhausted. Then I tried to get some sleep. Then the gas stations was calling me, telling me they sold out.
Yeah.
And then more orders was coming in online. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh. Then I had my regular day job.
oh
You know?
man,
And then I had a newborn. So my daughter was just born. So it was.
that
a
was
lot.
way too much.
It was
yeah.
way too much.
Did you ever think about doing it, starting it back up, or because I mean y'all's daughters are a lot older?
Yeah,
maybe they can help.
I thought about it, but I think I've gotten more into videos and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And see, with videos is I don't have to go create the product.
Right.
Right. I just have the camera,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just like, I could make unlimited videos with that.
Yeah.
I don't have to go big. I don't have to ship it.
Right. You don't have to keep going to the grocery store buying all the material
Exactly.
and the ingredients.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Although that does still get crazy, like going
It
home,
does.
because a lot of people think, like for example, people that are not in the filming world, or they just think that you see you doing a video and they're like, oh, and then they see it on TikTok or they see it on Instagram, it's like, oh man, that's cool. That
Right.
seems really easy.
Right.
But then they don't really know the background, like, or even clients, they just see you shooting the video and they automatically assume that it's like, oh, you're done.
Right.
Like you're done shooting. And it's like, no, I still got to go home and edit for another 6 hours, depending on how long the shoot was.
Exactly.
And how much and what you want, you know what I mean? How much content you want.
Right. And then it's like, so like this week alone, I had shoots. Then, from doing the shoots to picking up my kids from school, to coming home and then have to edit. And then I have 2 website clients that need websites for their companies. So I'm building websites, editing videos, being a dad.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a lot.
For sure.
Yeah, but the video stuff is pretty good because you can put people on retainers,
Yeah.
and I love retainers.
Yeah.
You just tell them, hey, this is a set price, this amount of videos per month, and that's that. It's locked in.
Yeah.
Those.
You just have to knock them out. As if you knock them out at the beginning of the month, it's
good.
Or you can even schedule them, right? If you work smarter, not harder, you schedule them, and then you did all your work, let's say 1 week, and then the rest of the month you got stuff to catch up.
Absolutely.
Or you're doing shoots and stuff. Because a lot of times, what takes the longest is not the shoots, but the editing.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to tell a story, right? Like for engagement, because that's what you need. You need that catchy titles, and then you need to be studying, because like it feels like every single month or every 6 months there's something new that comes out
trends.
or they change the algorithm to where before it was different. Like, oh well, what was working then isn't working now.
Right.
And now you gotta do shorts. Like I remember in YouTube, like before it was long content, and the longer the views. But now everything got used to like TikTok and Instagram, where they're real shorts.
Yeah.
So now when YouTube put shorts, that's what most people are starting to watch now, because they're so used to that now because of TikTok. I still like watching long format content, like podcasts, or even like I follow like a lot of drift people, like Adam LZ, Chelsea DeNovo, and stuff like that.
Okay. So when you say drift, you mean like the cars?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
drifting,
I
I love that stuff.
too,
I love that stuff. So then, their videos are like 20 minutes long. Sometimes when they do like tournaments, they're like 45 minutes. So.
Wow.
I'll even watch this guy from the UK. I think he's from the UK. His name is Matt Armstrong.
Okay.
And he builds like supercars. Like he'll go and get crashed like a Lamborghini Murcielagos or Lamborghini Huracans, or even GT3 RSs, like completely totaled. He'll go buy them for like a super low price, and he'll rebuild the entire thing. It's pretty crazy to see.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I watch, like, they're an hour-long videos, but I still watch the entire thing because to me it's interesting. It's like watching a show, I guess. If you watch like Game of Thrones, they're about an hour. To me, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I enjoy it at least.
Yeah, I like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I like that type of stuff.
And then you kind of pick up and learn some stuff like maybe you didn't know before, like on GT3 RSs, how much like some of the stuff. I used to be a technician, so I know like the headaches that come with that, and like seeing. I never got to work on a supercar, but like seeing somebody else working, like, oh man, just to get to like, for example, when a GT3 RS crashes, they have what's it called? It's like a sensor that it cuts where you can't start it.
Really?
Yeah, because they don't want you to, for example, if you crash it, they don't want you to accidentally have it still running and catch on fire. So it has like a kill switch. Yeah, like with supercars, because the type of fuel that they have is really flammable.
Oh.
Yeah, so they don't run off of like, some of them do run off of regular pump gas, but most of them have like racing fuel, which is really.
Where do you get that from?
There's places that sell it.
So you have to go like a specific gas
Yeah,
station.
yeah.
Nigga?
Like
That's
even
crazy.
some people that modify their car, they have to run like ethanol or stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's only certain gas stations that have it. So
Gotcha.
they have to like really plan. It's almost like
Yeah,
having a Tesla.
right.
You really gotta plan your like. If
Right.
I'm going far, usually it's like a weekend car. You know, like I'm gonna fill it up. I know where that gas station is the only one I go to all the time.
Right. Imagine you
And,
ride it, you like,
yeah.
you know, oh, snap, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, they're it's pretty interesting and seeing how where they put it. Like it's behind the firewall. Like, it's behind the dashboard on the very bottom. So you have to completely take it completely out to get to it. Unlike most cars, it's pretty accessible. But it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyways, back to you, bro. Tell me more about what we were talking about last time. Like for example, the Black History Month and all the like for example, where was it catch bait or what was that the term? What you said in Africa?
Gator bait?
Gator bait. For example.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
So gator bait is basically like when they used to take black babies. So like let's say like you're a black family, you're a slave, whatever. Like
Yeah.
you just finished doing your work for the day. You have you and your wife and you have your baby. Oh, it's so cute and stuff like that, right? And you go to sleep and you wake up and your baby's gone. And you wonder, where did my baby go? And then you look outside and you see your master out there with the baby rope tied around the body, swinging your baby around while it's still alive, screaming and everything. It throws it out to the swamp. So a gator can grab it, and they pull the gator in and hit the gator in the head with an axe. And that's how you got gator boots, belts, and stuff.
Back then.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was very horrible.
So was that very common? Like you said, usually in Florida, right?
In
So
Florida.
was that common strictly to Florida, or was that just the South?
Well, that's what the first place I heard about it was in Florida,
Okay.
because they actually had a gift shop in Florida that sold little trinkets of a gator biting on the back of a black baby's pamper.
See, I thought I was,
Yeah.
I thought this was gonna go way darker. I thought you were gonna be like they still have those boots and those gator stuff that they use.
Well, they do still have some
Really?
of the clothing
That they use.
inside the gift shop on display. So it's like a little museum and stuff like that.
What do you think about that? Do you think they should destroy that kind of stuff? Like, for example, like the
Well-
boots that they made from is this because it's history? Or?
Well, my take on racist history is it's history.
Yeah.
I don't believe we should destroy stuff like that because we have to be reminded and learn from it. So no, I don't think. I think maybe it should be put in a better museum.
Yeah.
Like a more famous museum. Like
Yeah.
maybe like the Museum of Natural History in New York, something like
Oh, okay.
that, so everybody can learn
Yeah.
from it. I don't want to be driving down the highway and there's some regular old side swamp museum,
Right.
and then I learn about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I'm not. I don't think any of that stuff should be destroyed. I know a lot of people get sensitive and emotional when it comes to racism. I see it a lot.
Do you feel that racism is still prevalent in the United States, or do you feel?
Yeah, racism is still strong, but it doesn't have as much power as it used to.
Okay.
But my thing is, I feel like black people hold on to it a lot. It's like, especially, and I understand like maybe like our grandparents, because if you think about it, all the black people like in the hood, they got redlined. You know, so that's basically like if you go to get your real estate license, they teach you about redlining because they want to teach you all the things that are illegal about real estate, and redlining is one of them. So you're a black person, you're doing well in life, and you know what? I want to go buy me a nice house. You go to the bank to get a loan, they tell you no. We won't give you a loan to live in any of these neighborhoods that you chose. So they have like a map, and it's like red zoned, and they tell you you have to live within the red line. And that's how you got black communities and stuff like that. Because there was no such thing as the hood. About 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as the projects,
Yeah.
So it's not like somebody was like, oh, look at these buildings. This is a nice project, so let's all move here. No, nobody thought about that.
Right.
Everybody got redlined and zoned into that.
Yeah.
So when you think about stuff like that, now I understand like if our grandparents were upset about that, right? But now in our generation, I feel like we hold on to an emotion about racism towards stuff that never happened to us.
Right. Yeah.
Now I understand it's wrong and it's bad, but we didn't really experience that.
Yeah.
And I feel like black people nowadays look for any excuse to cause an act of violence towards someone, go over the top for something minor. Like, people hate people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people hate people.
Well, there's prejudice, right?
Yeah,
There's always,
in every race.
In every race, yeah.
You know, and if somebody come up to me and is like, "Oh, I don't deal with black folks," I don't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, can I curse on this?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
You know, there's people in my life I grew up that don't like me. I don't care. It doesn't
Right.
bother me. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody, I don't like blacks, I don't give a shit. Fuck you. Like, you know.
Yeah.
That's it. But there's some people like, go knock them out, go beat them up for what? Because I feel like when you do that, especially if somebody records it, all you're doing is creating more racists.
Right.
You know, you're adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, so what do you think about Black Lives Matter and all that movement?
Well, I feel like if Black lives really mattered, then we would obliterate the gangs in our neighborhoods. Let's protest that.
Yeah.
You know, because if you think about it, yes, police were created, the police stations and stuff were created to police black folks. So if you think about, like, in slavery times, they had overseers, right? Those were the people that were there to make sure slaves stayed in check, make sure slaves didn't run off and stuff like that. That got evolved into police.
And would that only be in the South? Because I know, like, for example, a lot of the states in the North abolished slavery way before, like, the South. Like, that's kind of where the Civil War even started. Mm-hmm. Like technically, if you really look at it, a lot of white people died for black people to be free.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
But see, that's why I try to tell people too. Like, if there was people talk about race wars. If there was a race war, our biggest allies would be white people.
Yeah.
They would be on the front line.
Not the Mexicans?
No, they would do. They would too. You know, because I grew up with a lot of, my best friends are Spanish. You know, they're Latin. My best friends, like these people from the sandbox. Like I grew up with. We used to trade Transformer toys with, like, and we're still friends today. Yeah. But yes, they would be on the front line because they was on the front line with me in the Bronx. Yeah. I had a problem with the Bronx. My Spanish friends were there. Ready to fight. So of course, but I know white people would be the front runners because they have more access to different type of resources than we would. Yeah. So it'll be blacks and Latinos on the street level, but fighting in the courts, fighting on the media. Yeah. And if we was to go out there and start shooting guns and stuff, black people don't own any gun shops.
You know what's crazy, bro? You know what's crazy about the for example, all the the slavery and everything, like before, I think one of the things that you mentioned was like we don't want to forget our history, but I feel like we have forgotten our history because if black people knew that the Democratic Party started the KKK clan.
That's correct.
They started the Jim Crow laws.
That's correct.
They did all this other BS. They wouldn't be supportive of them. Yes. But since the Democratic Party like kind of weaseled themselves in by giving them free stuff. Like, hey, we're gonna give you if you take the father out of the home, destroy the nuclear family. Hey, we're gonna give you some money. We're gonna give you food stamps. We're gonna give you housing. So then that drove away because there was some class to, like, for example, Martin Luther King days, bro. Everybody was in a suit. Everybody was wearing a tie, working, bro. Some of the African Americans were some of the wealthiest people back then. Yes. Whenever the nuclear family was still together and there was a mom raising their kids and there was a father that was like, hey, you better stay in line because if you go step out of line, you can do anything. They valued education. Yes. One of the things that, even in the Hispanic community, the biggest thing that I've seen in Hispanic, I don't know if you can, say the same thing about blacks, is that if you try to speak correctly, if you try to be smart, they call you a coconut. Because they're like, why are you trying to be white? And it's like, I'm not trying to be white. I'm trying to better myself. Yes. To get out of poverty, go into become, because a lot of times when you see rappers, what's the first thing they do? They don't stay in the hood, they don't stay in the projects, they leave, they go live by white people.
Exactly.
You know, because they know that white people ain't gonna rob them, they're not gonna get like, and for Hispanics, there's a lot of envy. Like there's so many people that don't want to see you succeed.
I'm gonna tell you, you know why? Because when you start making money, you realize the people that are there helping you make money. Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of them are white.
Yeah.
So then you really realize white people don't hate us as much as poor people tell us they do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So then you start to really realize like white people are really cool.
Yeah.
You know,
not all of them. There are their bad apples.
Yeah. Everybody has their bad apples.
Yeah.
But like for me, example, I moved to Houston, and my first media retainer client is a non-black. My builder friends that are helping me build my first project, they're white.
Yeah.
You know, my gym partner, and he buys apartment complexes, and he's trying to help me with some deals. He's white.
Yeah.
When I got my camera and I wanted to learn how to shoot real estate videos, the first lady that was like, she has a whole community full of mansions. She's white.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, here's the key. Go and pick any house you want. Go practice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes. When I call her and I say, hey, I have a company that wants to shoot commercials. Can I use one of your houses? Of course. And out of all of that, right? When I shoot a video for her, I tell her, no charge. You know, you help me out.
Yeah.
Nah, she still pays and she overpays.
Yeah.
No problem.
Do you feel like it would be the same if there was like or have you encountered anybody in the black community that would be that helpful, would be that supportive towards you?
Well, I have one.
Yeah.
I have one. His name is Pierre Perry.
Okay.
He owns a company called Iconic Custom Homes.
Okay.
And he's very successful.
Yeah.
He's very intelligent, you know, and he's a college grad, he's a vet, you know, he was a special agent, and now he does real estate. He builds, and his wealth is growing a lot. He's doing very, very well for himself. And with him, he's willing to teach as well. So you do get some.
Yeah.
But majority of the people who's like, will help you are non-black people.
What do you think that is? Why do you think that culture is so prevalent now that it's like almost like they can't separate from it? Like it's like an attachment to like where you have to stay in the hood. Like if you're not like gang banging, you're not really like you're trying to be white. Why is that such a
because it's like crabs in a barrel. You know, when you try to make it out, they always try to pull you in. It's because they're low IQ. A lot of people in the hood are low IQ. And like you can see it, like we watch a video, and a woman starts a confrontation with somebody, and she goes and tells another guy, go punch him in the face or something. The guy is not thinking correctly. He's not assessing the situation. His dumbass is gonna go, I'm gonna go put my life in danger to go do what this emotional being told me to do.
Yeah.
And then he could potentially get killed or put in jail for hurting someone else.
Right.
So it's just a bunch of dummies following dummies.
Yeah.
You know, and because they're so, they populate the hood so much, when you get that group of people who don't want to act like that, they get bullied, you know, they get pressured into doing the wrong things and stuff. I see that all the time.
Yeah.
You know? Like growing up in the hood, you really get to see that stuff.
Why do you think that start like were the women that see? Because I'm trying to think back like at the time like where because it all started whenever the man left the nuclear home, right?
So all that was set up.
For sure.
Yeah.
By would you say it was by for sure the government, but the Democratic Party,
So I look at the Republican and Democratic Party like this. So if let's say like you live in a 2-parent household, right? Mm-hmm. And your father is strict, firm, but he loves you.
Yeah.
But he says some things you don't like. But you know it makes sense. But it just makes you feel emotional because of the way he said it.
Or maybe it doesn't make sense now, but it makes sense later when you're older.
That's the Republican Party.
Yeah.
You know, they say some things that, you know, we don't like. But we know it's for the better of the country.
Yeah.
You know, while the Democratic Party is like the mom. You know, oh, it's okay, and oh, we nurture you here, suck on my bosom, you know. Yeah. But they're secretly hurting us
Yeah.
by babying us.
Well, I think they're doing it on purpose, and I feel like,
Yeah.
for example, this open borders was. I feel like a lot of black people are waking up because a lot of people supported Trump this election, and I feel like they're like, hey, well, let's bring these immigrants that we like. For example, there's I think like 13 states that require no ID, no nothing to vote. So if you get a lot of immigrants from Mexico, Venezuela, all the south, that they can just, hey, if you come in, you gotta vote for Biden or for Kamala, and we're gonna give you, bro. I have family that came illegally, right, or they're illegal, bro. Whenever they came in years ago, there was no freaking, we're gonna put you on housing, we're gonna give you phones, we're gonna give you all this money for you to live, we're gonna give you food stamps. Hell no, you gotta go out. You will have to go out there and work your ass off, and you got to start off at a low, like below minimum wage.
Yeah.
And then work yourself up. And then a lot of times, that's why I feel like a lot of immigrants are so successful, because they started from nothing, and they had the American dream. You know, the American dream is to come here to the land of opportunity, where you have the ability to become somebody. Because a lot of our countries we're not able to, because for example, the cartel. I don't know if you've seen everything that's happening right now with the cartel. That, you know, United States is finally. I wouldn't say like they've been stepping up, but like they're just don't care anymore about what the president from Mexico or any other president. Like, for example, right now we have, I think, like 4 carriers going to Venezuela, because the president from Venezuela was, you know, he's tied with all that, and I think they put a $50 million bounty on his head. On
the president?
Well, the dictator of Venezuela. Yeah.
Jeez.
And then I don't know if you've seen these videos, but it's pretty funny. Like, they have like where first he called the president like, come get me, you freaking coward, all right? And then like the next video, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. President, you're honorable president. Can we come and talk to peaceful terms and all this? This is like, oh, you saw the might of the United States. Like, you thought nothing was gonna happen with your actions, and now that, you know, it is happening, you're like, oh shoot, I kind of messed up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, real talk. The United States is not really a country you want to have on your bad side.
But I feel like for at least the past 4 years, you could have been, like, under Biden, you could have done anything. That's
not necessarily, but I'm gonna tell you.
So?
No, I'm gonna tell you why. Even though Biden is the president, it doesn't matter who the president is.
Oh, he was. Trump is president.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who the president is.
Yeah.
Remember, the president is only somebody that's only here for 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years, they're in and out. It doesn't matter.
Right.
The people who actually run the country are been here 30, 20 plus years, you know?
That's true, but why do you think, okay, so for example, if that was true, why do you think Trump has done so much for the economy, for example, the tariffs? Like, the executive branch still has quite a bit of power to be able to guide the country for the economy, for example, also the border. Mm-hmm. Do you think about, like, I've seen recently videos of, like, unfortunately, and I freaking hate it, like, the illegals make because I'm an immigrant, make us look super bad, bro. Like, whenever I saw a video of this, I don't know where it was happening, but this illegal person followed a young lady, and she went into her apartment or wherever she lives, and then he stood outside her apartment, or you couldn't see a thing, and then he tried to open the door. So do you think he really has some good intentions? Like, oh, ma'am, you forgot your purse or something. No, that dude was in there to go do some bad stuff.
Exactly.
Like, these people completely ruin it for everybody else that comes here, still illegal, but they come here to better. They're hard workers. They're, for example, people that work in the fields, people that work as painters and all, like the gardeners and stuff like that. Those are bad apples that come over here,
see, the
just
thing
ruin
is
it for everybody.
With the American mindset is they blame everybody for the bad apples.
Yeah.
You know, because every race has bad apples.
For sure.
But the thing is with white folks is they don't take accountability for their bad apples, but they want every other race to take accountability for their bad apples.
Yeah.
You know, see, it's like the only thing a lot of people ask with white folks is to just have fairness across the board.
Yeah.
That's been the big fight for for centuries.
Yeah.
Is fairness across the board.
Yeah.
You know,
treat others how you would like to be treated.
Exactly. You know, because you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes they're like master gaslighters. Like, master gaslighters.
Yeah.
Like, on a whole different level type. Super swindlers. On a whole different other level. You know, so it's like they'll do something and then you'll do something, but then but
it's your fault.
Yes, but see, the thing is, I don't get upset with white folks because I look at it as life is a game.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to know how to play.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to the playing board before everybody else.
Yeah.
They learned it, they mastered the game, and now they playing everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and if you want to beat them at their own game, you got to learn how to play.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. They just was better at the game than we are, and we just got to learn how to play to win.
Yeah.
That's it. They knew take over media.
Mm-hmm.
They knew, okay, we're gonna create the internet. We're gonna have the biggest social media platforms in our control.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna keep the government in our control. You know, so that's all it is you gotta pay to play.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes.
Why do you think, like, for example, a lot of the times, black people, like, say the white person is keeping them down. But however, let's say, a lot of times I think about because if that was true, why do countries like Africa are not prosperous?
Well, Africa's not prosperous for many reasons. For one, they got depleted of their resources.
By, like, the colonists, like the
Yes.
British and all that?
Exactly,
Okay.
all of them. So it's like, if another, like diamonds, for example, right? Diamonds really don't hold any value, right? They don't.
Yeah, they don't.
It's just a shiny rock in the ground.
Yeah.
They don't hold any value.
Well, if people really knew how they work, they would know that they only they have diamonds are so abundant, but they store them in a safe, and then every year they only lay out so many.
Yes.
That
So
way
you
they
have
can
to-
drop up the value.
Exactly. Then on top of that, they swindled all the women into believing my husband needs to buy me a diamond to
a
express
rocket
his
forever.
love.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah.
Come on.
It's a marketing scheme. I think in the
exactly.
60s. Don't quote me on that, but I don't
But
remember
yeah,
it was.
that's how the diamond. That's how the jewelry companies, you know.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter.
No.
You know, like diamonds are really worthless, but because they found a rock that they can dig up and it looks beautiful and it can be cut nice.
Yeah.
They just added a value to it.
Man.
Because really nothing in the world has value unless other people perceive it as so.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
That's why when you buy a house, you check the market value and you run your comps.
Yes.
So you get to see if this house sold for this much and it's 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and mine is 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom on the same street, you perceive that your house can sell as much as theirs.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Because you know that a buyer saw value in that house and decided to pay that much.
Yeah.
So if buyers was like, no, we're not doing that anymore.
Then it would drop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So value only is in the eye of the beholder. That's all.
Yeah. Kind of like all the like Gucci and
All
Louis Vuittons, all this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about that earlier. It's crazy because I was thinking about it on the way here. And a lot of times people think, they say, oh, white people don't wear name brands. Yeah, they do. The only difference is white people don't wear logos. So they'll have a button up, powder blue button up that costs $1,500. And that thing could be Louis Vuitton, but there's no LV on the shirt.
Well, I feel like especially like a lot of successful people, like we know, they wear their own logos. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are they gonna? Because when you're out wearing somebody else's brand, you're promoting that brand.
Exactly, you're a walking billboard.
Exactly. So it's like, why would I promote Louis Vuitton? Why would I promote, Gucci? Why would I promote Nike and all this when I can be promoting my brand and building your brand to where it will compete one day with those brands,
But see, the reason why, like, black folks wear, like, one thing I hate is the Gucci with the G's all over it. Oh my gosh, the ugliest thing in the world. But the reason why black folks wear it so much, and I feel like it's because of self-esteem issues.
Status, right?
Yes, it's all self-esteem.
Yeah.
I'm here, I live in the hood, everybody's poor, but I don't want to seem like them, so I'm going to get me a Gucci shirt.
Yeah.
So
But I feel like if they invested it, they would get out of that. Like, instead of spending all that money on the Gucci's and all
But
this.
then you got to look at it like this too. You know how they say you're gonna turn out to be just like your friends?
Yeah, your 5 friends. The 5 people you
Exactly.
hang out the most, you're
so
going to be the
if
6th.
you're in the hood and all your friends are criminals, hoes, and delinquents, well, you're gonna be another one because those are the people you hang out with. There's nobody in your life telling you that this is stupid. There's nobody in your life telling you got to do better.
Yeah.
So it's just a cycle, keeps going on and on.
I feel like Kevin Hart and like I think Waka Flocka. I've seen him in a couple of like life insurance stuff. He kind of breaks down like infinite banking and stuff like that. But I feel like they're trying to, at least I know Kevin Hart said that he's trying to put like a school to educate, kids or young black kids more on financial education.
Yes.
That way they can like have the same opportunities.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, like one of the big differences that I have seen between like my white friends and like for example even my family and maybe black families is a lot of times like their white family will buy their kids as soon as they're born like a Gerber life insurance or like a life insurance when they're babies.
Yes.
Man, bro, I've never even heard of that.
But see,
until now that I've had a baby.
But you got to look at it like this though. Who created life insurance?
White person,
person, right?
Yeah.
So, who created the credit system?
White person.
A white person. Who created the banking system?
I think it was like the Jewish people, right, or something like that.
But they're Jewish people, most likely Caucasians.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Then you got the banking system. You got mortgages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All of that stuff.
They control all that.
Rates, interest rates and stuff. All of that was thought up of by majority white folks.
Yeah.
So even if some of it wasn't, but it was dominated and controlled by white folks.
There's a lot of inventions that came out, like the black, like for example, like the lights, the stop lights.
But see, the thing is, back in the day, it was illegal for black people to create anything.
Really?
Yeah, black people couldn't.
I know it was illegal for them to learn how to read and all that, especially in the South.
Yeah, so you couldn't read, right?
Yeah.
You wasn't allowed to invent anything. You wasn't allowed to own a business or nothing like that. Because also black people were deemed as 3/5 of man. So they wasn't even considered human.
Right.
Like,
so they were just like
they didn't even look at black people like black people as humans. They looked at black people like the same way you look at a cow.
So that's why they would do the bait.
Yes, because
they weren't.
Yeah, they didn't look at it as a person.
Wow.
So if you have a group of people that you don't even deem as humans, they can't own anything. They can't do anything. So if I'm a black person and I'm around my master all the time, and he's intelligent, and I'm around him and I'm seeing him school his kids and stuff, I'm learning.
Yeah.
But I can't express that I'm learning because I could get hung for that.
Yeah.
But I'm learning.
Yeah.
Right? So then a lot of times, sometimes a slave will get cool with his master, and his master, they like best friends. Because a lot of times if you're my master, for example, and I have a kid and you have a kid, right? Our kids will be cool with each other.
Yeah.
Right? So they'll grow up. Me and you will pass away.
Yeah.
Right? So because they have that relationship with each other, he gets more. My son will get more leeway.
Right.
Than a lot of other slaves.
Right.
So then he could read and write.
Yeah.
He can learn how to do stuff.
And then he'll teach his kids.
Yes, but see, a lot of black inventors were like that, and they get to invent things because their master allowed them. Like, yeah, go ahead, and they invent things, but they can't patent it. So a lot of inventions, even though they were created by black people, had to get patented by the white man.
Okay.
Because they weren't allowed to do that. So there's a lot more inventions out there, but we'll just never know about it.
Right.
Because nobody black was allowed to put their name on it.
Do you think that's also where like people would fall in love? Like back then, like for example, you said the kids would raise up together. Maybe like if I have a daughter and you had a son, and then they start growing up and there's like a connection.
Yeah.
And then they would start. Yeah.
They're like it was in interracial relationships that goes back centuries.
But it was like very fraud upon, right?
Yeah, of course. You get killed, and they would kill a white woman too.
Really?
Yes.
Would they kill a black man?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, not black. If a white man, would they kill the white man, or would it only
that's
be?
the crazy thing. No.
So it would only be the women. So if a white woman slept with the black man, she would be both killed. But if it was a white man sleeping with the black, only her.
Exactly.
That's crazy. That seems a little.
Yeah, because remember back in the day, the world was basically ran by men.
Yeah.
Remember, women couldn't even vote.
Right.
Women didn't really have rights either.
Yeah.
You had insects, animals, black folks, white women,
right?
then men, then white men. That's how it went.
Yeah.
So they didn't really have rights or nothing like that either. So they didn't own businesses really. They didn't run anything. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So they would be held accountable like that too, because a lot of men back in the day looked at their women as their property.
Right.
So it's like my property is sleeping with the slaves.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
since you want to do that, I'm gonna torture him in front of you, make you watch, and then I'm gonna kill you next.
Yeah.
There was nothing nobody could do about it.
Right. And there was nothing. Yeah. That's crazy how much like crimes back then people would commit, and you could just get away with it.
Yeah, like the scot-free.
There you go.
Yeah, that term came from if you were a slave, and let's say like you did something, like for example, you were picking cotton or something, right? And you didn't meet your quota, or you dropped eggs. This is something that happened a lot. You would pick eggs from the chickens, and you would drop eggs and break eggs, right? Now, if you're being corrected, right? If a white woman come down, she corrects you, she's beating you, and you die, right? Usually, if you kill a slave because a slave is property, you could be held accountable in court of law, right? But if she kills you in the sense of her correcting something you done wrong, you got off scot-free. That's where that term came from. And she was let off scot-free.
See, it's crazy. A lot of times, with I like to look at that stuff too. And like, for example, you were teaching me that about that last time. Is I like to look at terms like we're like biting the bullet. Like back in the day, when people would be getting like in the war, they were getting destroyed. They would literally have to buy a bullet. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's crazy how much like terminology we use nowadays that we don't even know where it really originated. We just hear everybody using it, and then we just use it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we don't even realize that it came from something horrible.
Exactly.
Because scot-free is just
picnic.
Yeah, what's that?
That's when they used to have like get-togethers where they would pick niggas.
Really?
They always have.
That's what a picnic. So that's where
pick niggas.
Oh,
that's where the word came from.
Wow.
Like, have you ever seen Django?
Yeah.
And then he uses it in there too.
Really? I have to rewatch it.
This ain't no pick a nigga.
Okay.
But that's where the word picnic came from.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Barbecue came from when they used to take slaves and pile them on top of each other, dead bodies, and set them on fire. So they would have like a bonfire of dead black slaves, and that was a barbecue. Or they would hang them up in the trees, and they set them on fire.
That's crazy.
And they was having a barbecue.
And that was like during the Jim Crow laws, right? Like
that started before Jim Crow.
Was it? Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, like the hanging of the trees, the
hanging in the trees, that was definitely a Southern thing, but a guy named Willie Lynch kind of made it a thing. That's why it's called lynching.
Oh.
Because his last name was Lynch.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but see, like, it's a thing, like, if you Google Willie Lynch letter and you read it, he teaches how to dismantle the black community in such a horrible way that even when they're free and they're no longer slaves, they'll still destroy each other.
Speaking of that, what do you think about this? I heard from Andrew Tate. And do you know who Andrew Tate is?
Mm-hmm. Top G.
Top G, that's right.
Yeah.
Which he's on a suing spree right now.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, he said something that I think really resonated with me, and it kind of stuck with me in remembering, like, for example, whenever they found with the Civil War happened and the slaves were finally free, a lot of the times the same slaves that worked at a plantation went back to work at a plantation because they're like, man, we don't know nothing else. Like, what do we do?
Exactly.
And Andrew Tate said something very profound. He said, if I could have slaves right now, right? Because slaves have been all over the world. It wasn't just exclusive to the United States.
Yeah.
Slaves were in the UK and Africa, everywhere. A lot of times that's where we actually the British people got the slaves. African tribes would conquer other tribes, and then they would enslave them and sell them to the ship. Mm-hmm. Which a lot of times black people don't even recognize it. Like, no, the white person brought us here. It's like, who caught you?
But see, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So you got black people saying, oh, white people came to Africa and kidnapped us.
Yeah.
Then you got white people saying, no, y'all sold us. Both happened.
Right.
It's not like...
So both are true.
Both are true.
Yeah.
Yes, Africans sold Africans to the British because those were their captives.
Yeah.
It wasn't a race thing.
Yeah.
Those were their enemies.
Right.
Yeah. So white people turned it into a race thing. Well, that was something a whole different level.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna take what you got and we're gonna turn it up a notch.
Right.
You know.
Right, yeah.
So that's where, like, because they try to gaslight and say, oh, why y'all still talking about stuff? So a lot of times, like reparations, for example, y'all not getting reparations. Slavery didn't happen. That was a long time ago. My family didn't own any slaves. But the crazy thing is, the argument is coming from people who we're not even asked to pay. We're not asking you to pay reparations.
Right.
Why are you defending the government that's shitting on you too?
Yeah.
And that's what really was the downfall of this country is people are so racist, they vote against their own interests just because they don't want another race to benefit.
You know what's funny about the reparations thing is that I just saw a video recently that one of the guys was like, I don't know if he was a politician or who, I think he was in the news. He said, really, if they wanted reparations, they should get them from Democrats, because the Democrats are the ones that wanted the slaves.
Yes.
Because if you look at most of the South states were Democrats, and they had the slaves, and they wanted to keep the slaves because they're like, well, that's how our business works.
Yes.
Without slaves, our business can't run. We can't run the plantations. We can't do this. But let me get back to what Andrew Tate said real quick. He said, if I could have slaves, I would have to house them, feed them, take care of them for the health care. He said, it's cheaper if I just pay them a salary.
Yes.
They're still slaves. You just don't see it.
Yes.
Because now you're even worse than a slave, because back then you had food on the table, a house. Now, at least right now.
Doing the same work.
Yeah, same work.
But
now
I
you can't even afford it. Exactly.
But I have to take care of you now.
Exactly. Now you got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
actually probably savings.
So let's say like this is salary. Let's use it for example.
Yeah.
Right? Slave. Now before salary was invented, slave come to work, does the work, right? Goes back to his hut. He's taken care of.
Yeah.
Now it's like, nope, you don't live on a plantation no more. I'm gonna give you a salary.
Yeah.
And you come to work,
That's
you work for your salary, and then you take your salary and you have to give it to this, and now you don't have nothing anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the same thing.
Exactly. Yes.
It's the same thing.
If anything, it might be worse, because sometimes you're like, dude, I don't have food on the table. I can't afford it. I can't afford this nice hut. Now I have to go to somewhere even worse to even, maybe I can't even put food on the table. Now, not even, especially like nowadays, like you need 3 or 4 incomes. Like you need your wife to be working, and you need to work 2 jobs, an Uber or
side
something
hustles
else.
and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To just even make it. And you're still not able to afford a house because the house market has increased so much.
That's a fact.
So it's nuts.
Yeah. So it's crazy because when I was working in a fast food restaurant, and I told one of my managers, I said, we're just paid slaves.
Yeah,
and she
invisible change.
She got furious. I'm not a slave. I said, yes, you are. I said, yes, you are. Look at both of us in the kitchen, both of us in here slinging grease and cooking fries and stuff. You're a slave too. Don't even, just accept it.
Yeah.
You're just a paid slave. Because even if you work for the company for free and they took care of you, or you don't work for the company for free and you still have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Either way, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The only difference is they don't want to take care of you.
Also, if you were free, walk away from it. Yeah. And then what happens? You feel like you can't, because you feel trapped, right?
Trapped.
Because you're like, oh, I have all the expenses. I have the rent or mortgage. I have a car payment. So then you just...
You can't afford to quit.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're
trapped. Yeah.
Yes. So now you're still a slave.
Yeah. It's just a different form of slavery.
Instead of a slave to the master, you're a slave to the corporation and $1.
Yeah.
That's it. Now you got 2 masters.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly
crazy.
how that happens.
Yeah. So then, like, a lot of the stuff that he says, like, I don't agree with 100% of everything that he says.
But he said he dropped a lot of gems, though.
But yes, like 90%.
Yes.
90%, like I said, 10% that, like, for example, I feel like the part that I disagree with is at least, and the only reason I disagree is because when I can understand it. Like, whenever maybe he had a girl that when he was broke that did him wrong, and he said, fuck that, I ain't never getting married, and he became a billionaire or close to a billionaire, or a billionaire, he says he's a billionaire. And at that point, he's like, man, I'm protecting my assets, I ain't getting married, I ain't doing this. If I can have multiple, especially like if he's a Islamic now, and Islam, you can have as many wives as you can afford.
Yeah.
If you're a billionaire, you can afford quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then, it makes sense. But for me, that wouldn't be my life. You know, I respect my wife, and she's been with me since I was nothing.
I feel like having multiple wives is a big headache.
You know? It is without money.
Yeah. So
you know
I would
what I'm saying?
That's why I lean into what you're saying is, you respect your wife, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
Because you got her back, she got your back, and that's it. You don't need an extra person to come in here ruffling the feathers.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you got to deal with this person's emotions and stuff. That's too much. Like I don't want to deal with that. You know?
Yeah. One, isn't it?
Yeah. So like back to like reparations and stuff, right? I feel, and you know, they might call me a coon or something like that for this. You know,
Uncle Tom or something.
Right? You know, they always say that when you don't agree with something. You know, I'm human at the end of the day. I don't have to agree with you 100% because we share a skin tone. That's all it is. It's a skin suit.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just melanin, right?
That's it. We're all blank canvases that was souls, and we got put inside of a meat body.
We all bleed red.
Yes. So, as far as reparations, I feel like black people as a whole are not ready for that. We're not mentally ready for that. Because if you have to think about, if, let's say the country would say, you know what, we're going to give every black person $200,000, right? In the next 5 years, all the black people are going to be right back in the same position.
I was gonna say exactly the same thing. Like it reminded me of the COVID. What were they? Those checks that they gave? What were they called?
I know what you're talking about though. Those COVID checks.
Yeah, the COVID check.
Yeah, the little $1,500.
Yeah, $1,500 per person or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, every single. You know who got richer? The white people that were already owning businesses.
Yeah.
Because what did you do? You went to Amazon. You bought all this stuff. You paid off credit cards, and then you're like, oh, cool. I have a clean slate. I'm gonna go use that credit card again.
Yeah, I know a lady that when COVID hit, she made $1 million in 1 month because she put together gift baskets that had hand sanitizer, mask, and stuff like that. And they was selling like crazy during COVID.
Yeah.
It's all about your mindset, you know, and because that's why I feel like if the government wants to fix the country, they can. That's why when Trump was jacking at "Make America Great Again," he's not really, in a sense, but not really. Yeah. He's doing enough to brainwash you. Okay. But he's not doing enough to actually fix the country.
Well, I think he can't because, like you said, he's limited for 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So like for example, Vladimir Putin, he recently had a meeting with him in Alaska, right? Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, even China, a better example is China, because technically we're enemies with China. The United States is enemy with China, even though we're not a physical war, we're kind of like in a cyber war. Yeah. Right? Is his name
and it's funny though. It is funny though. Two countries beefing with each other, but all the citizens going back and forth like it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
it's crazy. Yeah. And then we do trade too. Like a lot of the stuff is made in China.
Yeah.
You know, so all the stuff with trade and everything is.
It's like step
brothers. Yeah.
And I don't like you. You don't like me.
But we need each other.
But
yeah. But the president or the dictator, or I think I don't want to get his name wrong. I think it's Xi Jinping or something like that. He said Trump just has 4 years. All I have to do is wait.
That's it.
Like all I got to do is wait. Like whatever policies, whatever tariffs you have, I'll wait them out.
That's it.
You know.
See, that's a smart person.
Yeah, because China plays the long game.
But see, that's the problem. This is what scares me about America. Americans don't have the brain capacity to think deep.
Yeah.
Americans are very surface thinkers.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is tell one lie, and the scary part about Americans is when you tell a lie, they'll grab it and they'll run with it like if they have the facts. And it is scary how they'll sit there and defend and die on a lie.
But I feel like, okay, I think it goes on both aisles, but I feel like at least, I mean, hey, roast me on the comments, but I feel like the Democratic Party is way worse at that because
they're master swindlers and master gaslighters.
Bro, but they're brainwashed. Like they can't even answer a simple question like what is a woman? Like they know the answer.
Yeah.
But they can't say because their pride will be there.
But I'm gonna tell you this, it's the surface level poor Americans, right?
Yes.
You have, like, tell me right now, at this moment, right now, right, at this time, right, in the evening, right now, the Democrats in power are probably somewhere right now having a meeting, talk about what they're going to do the next couple of years.
Yeah.
How we're going to manipulate the media, how we're going to push whatever we need to push on social media, how we're going to keep stirring the pot. Yeah. Every time stuff starts to calm down, let's stir the pot. Boom, they throw some spice in there, you know, get everybody riled up. And people fall for it every single year, all the time, over and over. That's like, dang.
Yeah.
Like, y'all just, like, retarded or something. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Take control of your brain back.
Yeah.
You know, and it's easy for the Democratic Party to do that because, like, the thing with the female, right? Everybody knows what a female is.
So how many genders there are?
We know for a fact.
Yeah, yes.
Right? But because you have people who are stupid enough to think otherwise, all we got to do is cater to them. And we weaponize them to get everybody else.
I think they conflict like respect with like not empathy, but like the people that have like, for example, the transsexuals and all that, like they have mental issues.
Yeah.
But people are so scared to say that because it's not politically correct. Like, oh my God, you're homophobic, you're, xenophobic, whatever, any phobic. Because you don't agree with them. It's like, bro, you can be whatever you want. I don't have to. I'll respect you enough to call you. What, like, if you were a Juan and you want to be called a Linda, fine, bro. I'll call you Linda. But don't tell me you're a woman.
Exactly.
Bro, I'll give you a perfect example, bro. Speaking of this, my wife we recently had a baby girl. I want a man you're a woman whenever you have the pain of labor.
Yes.
Whenever a human being comes out of your vagina or butthole, since that's what you call you gay people call their fucking buttholes vaginas. When a human being comes out of there, or shove a freaking 3-liter bottle up in there, bro, don't come talk to me, bro.
Exactly.
You're a man.
Exactly.
Bro, the pain she felt, I felt in love with my wife even more. Bro.
She's a soldier.
For real. I couldn't do it, bro. I said, thank God I'm a man. I tell the nurse, I don't know how y'all do it.
Yes. I was there. Both my daughters were born.
Bro, I don't know.
I'm standing there, and I'm watching, and I'm like, I couldn't do that.
No, hell no. Not in a million years. Not in a million years.
No, and then the crazy thing is like they go through that, and then like, let's have another one. What?
Yes.
What?
I went through the worst pain of my life. Yes.
You're volunteering to go through that again? That's crazy.
Yes,
you exactly. A real one.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't.
No, for
I
sure.
wouldn't even volunteer to go through it once. You want to go through it again? Like, Nah.
Yeah. Nah, for sure, bro. It's insane. Yeah. So like I said, bro, you're delusional. I'll call you whatever you want to be called, but you're not.
Yes, because a man, as tough as we are.
Yeah, we're not that tough.
No, we're not.
We're not in that type of tough.
No.
We have our strengths, Like, we're more in the tough of, like, I'll go die for you.
Yes.
And I'll give my life to protect my family.
Yes. You know what's so crazy, though? And it's like, I know I'm a big fella, right? And it hit me one time, like, somebody was like, people are so willing to die for their families, but who's really putting in the work to live for their family?
I just saw a video of that.
Yeah. And I'm like, I gotta get in the gym.
Yeah. Take care of your health.
I gotta take care of my health. I have to, because I want to be there when my kids are getting married.
Oh, I was gonna say, walk your daughter down the aisle.
Exactly. And it's crazy because I had this guy one time come to me and say that. Like, I was eating a cheeseburger one time, right? And it was delicious, I had the bacon on there and everything. And the guy came into me, he was like, don't you want to be there to see your daughters get married? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, so put the burger down. And I was like, damn, you dropped that gym. And it really hit. And I'm like, he's right.
Yeah.
He's really right. And I'm like, nah, I got to change.
Yeah, which is hard, right? It's hard. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. Especially, like, my line of work, I'm busy so much. Yeah. And it's like, I don't want to go home and cook after a long day. Yeah. It's easy just to pull up to like a Jimmy John's or something, just grab something, keep going. Yeah. But I got to change. I got to find time and put in the work. Yeah.
So I saw there's a study, the guy, so I think the biggest problem that most people have, it isn't so much the bad eating, is the lack of exercise. Like, I saw the guy, I don't remember if it was from Harvard or Princeton, or some guy did a study where all he ate was potato chips and Twinkies. So, I mean, for that, like, it's horrible, right? But he kept it under his calorie count, and he lost weight, his bad cholesterol went down. So, like, he's still like what most people were like, no, you can't eat that. Like he was able to eat it. I'm not saying you don't eat healthy. For sure, eat healthy.
Yeah.
You know, like we want to see you live as long as possible.
Yeah.
But for sure is the lack of activity. Because I know, like for example, in a lot of like third world countries, people walk a lot.
Yeah.
And here we drive a lot.
Yeah.
So we're sitting all the time, really not burning anything.
Yeah. So
You know
like,
what
when
I mean?
I lived in New York, right, I was a little chubby, but I wasn't big, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't get like that until after I moved out of New York. Because in New York, I was walking everywhere.
Exactly.
You know, I would walk from my neighborhood to the stores up the street. It's like 5 blocks away. We would walk.
Now we're like, we ain't walking, we're driving, you know?
Just drive, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like...
5 blocks is far.
Yeah, you know? It's like, you know, there's no corner store.
Yeah.
So we got to get in the car and drive to like an HEB or Walmart or something like that. So it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And then you're so busy, and it's like,
And then see, before, like we were saying, before the wife didn't have to work, so she was able to stay home and cook, and you come home to a healthy meal.
a healthy meal.
Now they're just like they're both working, both of you got tired, and you still got your kids, do the homework. I mean, obviously my kids aren't on that level, but I do have nieces and nephews. Yeah, eventually, right? So I do see like they're always real. Like my brother-in-law and sister-in-law are super always busy with their school activities. After they're in sports, so they're always constantly moving.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it gets so easy to be in the habit of like, man, I'm tired. Let's just go get Jack in the Box or McDonald's or Whataburger here in Texas. Deliciousness.
Yes.
You know.
Or grab some pizza or something like that.
something easy.
Something that's super unhealthy for you.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that's exactly how this country is designed.
Yeah, and then that's what we teach our kids, right? And then our kids follow in our footsteps and become unhealthy like us.
Yes.
So then it's just like, it's unfortunate. It's like a cycle.
But see, one thing I learned is when you work out, you change your genetics, right? So, and I saw this video and it made a lot of sense. And if you're big and you have a child, both parents are big, 9 times out of 10 that child is going to be big, because it's in the genetics. Because you have your big person genetics with this big person, and y'all made another child. So all your fat DNA and stuff is now with the child. So the child's gonna have a slow metabolism. It's gonna the body's gonna store fat much easier. The insulin is not gonna work properly because that's genetic. That's why when a person has diabetes, the first thing they ask is, does it run in your family? Because they think, what does that have to do with, what does me intaking a whole bunch of sugar have to do with my parent? We're 2 different people. No, it's like that because your parent was doing that before they had you.
Right.
So if his genetics and his blood was already tainted and messed up, then they had you, you're just a copy of that person.
Right.
So
half a copy of both creating
exactly.
one.
So if you have 2 unhealthy parents, they're gonna create an unhealthy person. Right.
That makes sense.
So you have to work 10 times harder to stay healthy, if you have 2 unhealthy parents.
Right.
But I saw this thing and the guy made sense. He was like, the wife was like, I want to have a baby. And he was like, okay, well, give me 1 year to get in shape and then we'll have a baby. And I was like, what? And then he explained it and I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So he's going to work hard to change his genetics, change his body, change his DNA, have everything, all his health levels, everything straight. And then, so that when he puts a seed into his wife, that's a healthy seed because it came from a healthy body.
Right.
So that's a lot of times, especially like in the hood, you have a bunch of unhealthy people having babies, creating more unhealthy people. That's why like high blood pressure and diabetes is extremely high in the black community. Extremely, because soul food.
What's soul food?
Soul food is like fried chicken, Big Mac and cheese, collard greens, yams, all that gravy and greasy stuff.
All that good stuff.
Yeah. It's delicious, but it's killing everybody.
Does that come from like Louisiana mainly, or is it?
No, it was just a black culture thing.
Okay.
Like chitlins.
What's that?
Chitlins is pig intestines.
Okay.
So a lot of black people eat chitlins. Well, not anymore. Like the new generation of blacks is like, we're not doing that. Like pig feet and chitlins, we ain't eating that.
No?
No.
As
But
Mexicans
like our
still eat
parents
pig feet.
and grandparents, they was big on that. But that stems from slavery.
Oh, okay.
Because you have to think about it.
That's all they had.
That's all they had.
Yeah.
You know, I'm master. I got pigs on my farm. We gonna get bacon, all the good stuff, and all the nasty stuff that we don't want to eat. Give it to the slaves to eat.
Yeah.
So and then that stuff is disgusting. So what we had to do, season it up real good.
Yeah.
So that way we can eat it.
Right.
That's why black people season stuff so much. But that's bad because we're messing up. Everybody got high blood pressure.
Right.
Because we over seasoning.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But a lot of times also, like when we were talking about, was it Django? Was it called the Mendigos? A lot of times though they were bred, weren't they? Like I could be wrong.
No, yes.
Like where they would get a very strong woman and a very strong man and have
exactly.
babies,
So you see,
so they can create a stronger.
Exactly. So they knew that you need a healthy and a healthy person.
It was like they do that with animals too, right? Like
Yes.
like the racing horses, they don't get
breed
like
racing horses with some
random ass.
Hell no.
Yeah, they have to be
Hell
like
no.
pristine.
But see, that's the thing. They don't tell black people that.
Yeah.
You know, they don't tell minorities that. So how do we learn that?
Right.
You know, you got fat people having babies with other fat people, creating another fat being.
Yeah.
You know, you have to mix good genetics with good genetics.
And it all can be changed.
And it all can be changed.
Just mentally. It's all here, right?
It's all in the mind.
Yeah.
It's all in the mind. That's why I say, like, if we're going to give reparations, let it be therapy and proper education.
Yes.
We can create the rest on our own.
Right, because what they want is the fish, not to be taught how to fish.
Exactly. I want to be taught how to fish.
Yeah, because then that would change your whole. I think reparations will change one generation, or not even, because they'll lose to that, like you said, in 5 years. But I think if they taught you how to fish, it would change generations.
Yes.
Not just
But see, that's why I feel like one day a Democratic Party member is going to come along and say, oh, we'll give you reparations and just throw money.
Yeah.
And it's going to have all the black folks,
Because they know they're going to get all the money back.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because they're going to send it.
They don't care about the money. The money's printed.
Yeah. I was going to say it's fake.
It doesn't matter.
It's fake.
Yeah, print up
another trillion.
We're gonna give it to them.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. You know, we'll never go broke. We could just print more. If I want a yacht, print it.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a good book about that. It's called Lords of Easy Money. If you read it, bro, it's gonna piss you off because of
Lords of Easy Money. Wow,
yeah,
that sounds deep.
It teaches you how the banking system really works, and how money isn't made, it's created. So banks have to lend money.
Yeah.
Because if they don't lend money, they will close down. They have to have a quota. So what they do is you put in your $100, they go and then you want to borrow. For example, I put $100 and then you want to borrow $100. Well, they'll take my $100 and give it to you, and they'll be giving me like 0.001% on that, and they'll be getting like 5-6% on that money, and then somebody else will come. And then with that same $100, say, I want to borrow, they'll borrow it again. But that money is already gone with you. So how are they spending another 100? Well, they're printing it. They're just like, oh, well, it's imaginary. It's fake.
It's fake. It's fake. And you know what's crazy about you saying they have to meet a quota, right? I have a real estate investor client, right? I'm not going to say his name.
Okay.
But I was in his office and I was listening to him talk to a big financial institution on the phone. And because I always wondered, like, how is he able to buy so many houses back to back? I'm talking about he's buying 20, 30 houses a month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who has that kind of money to just keep buying everything?
Yeah.
But then I was there and I was listening to him talk to this institution on the phone, and they were literally telling him, we need you to spend up to almost $100 million. Within the next 5 years.
For us to be able to.
For us to not lose our government funding.
Oh wow.
Yes.
So they're backing him though.
Yes.
They're like, hey, bro, we're gonna give you all the money, but you gotta spend it.
You gotta spend it. You gotta give out these loans. You have to buy these properties. You have to keep going. Because if not, then the government's gonna pull our money and it will go bankrupt.
And they're probably at 50 and they're like, hey, since I got this client, let me bump it up to 100 because they get a cut, you know.
Yes.
But with these You have to.
But then if you think about this though, let's say an interest rate at 6%, right?
Yeah.
If a bank loans you $1 million, right, and it's a 30-year loan, interest rate 6%, right? That bank is gonna take forever for that bank to make money, right? So you're telling me at a 6% rate, if I lend out $100 million, I have 100 clients, $1 million each, and I make it 6% over 30 years. How does that bank stay in business?
No, so think about it like this. So for example, let's take a house, right? Let's do calculations real quick. So let's take
but the reason why I say that is because let's say if you had $1 million in your bank, and I told you, hey, let me borrow your $1 million, and I'll pay you back 6% of your money. What's 6%?
But 6% a month. So let's do a calculation. So 6% of 1 million times 0.06. So that's 60,000 a month.
Yes.
Right. So let's say.
Now times that by 100.
100 years?
No, 100 meaning like 100.
100 people?
Yeah.
So that's $6 million.
$6 million. So you're telling me.
So they're making out of that 1 million, they're making 5 million.
Yes, but that's around roughly. Let's say I lend out $1 million, so 100 people, I'm making $6 million a month, right?
Yeah.
So, but you have these big banks, these big institutions. A Chick-fil-A can make almost as much.
But see, but on the houses, on a commercial, it's different.
Yeah.
They're a lot higher. They're like at, I think, like between 10 to 13% interest. But the way that they make it is they play the long game.
Yeah.
So for example, let's say that 1 million. Let's say I have $1 million, and then I let you borrow it, right? So times 0.0 at 6%, 0.6. So I'm making $60,000 a month. But you're gonna, so that's times 12, right? So that's $720,000 a year, right? I lended you $1 million. In 1 year, I almost made my money back.
Yes.
So then, now times that times 30, you paid me $21,600,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So then, out of $1 million, at what 6% in 30 years, you paid that whatever you bought a crazy amount of times.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's nuts.
Well, same thing with the houses. Like for example, if you buy a $400,000 house, and the interest rate is at, let's say right now it's like at 7%. So times 0.7. So you're paying in interest. You're paying 28,000 times 30. So you bought the house for 400,000, right? You paid $840,000. So you doubled the house in 30 years. So that's where they're making their money.
But see, so now back to if it was you.
Yeah.
If I borrow 400,000 from you and I told you I pay you back 800,000, double your money.
Yeah.
Would you wait 30 years for your money to be doubled?
Hell no.
Exactly. So why does a bank feel like they'll wait 30 years for their money to be doubled?
I think it's because they have scale. So for example, if I only had $1 million, I could only lend to 2 people, technically. But when I can print money, then it don't matter. It don't matter if I'm. It does. It changes the game big time because it doesn't even matter if I make 0.5%. Yes. Because now I have unlimited amount of people that I can let borrow.
Yes.
So then even if I make $1,000, which is ridiculous, they're not making they're making way more. Even if I made $1,000 and I get a million people, I'm getting all that money, and I don't even have that money. I just printed it. I just it's just numbers on a screen.
Now, see, the reason why I wanted you to explain it like that is because I wanted you to break it down to your audience on how worthless money is.
Yeah.
So therefore, if the government says we'll give people reparations, it's meaningless.
Yes.
It's 100%. Worthless.
Yeah.
So people get brainwashed into believing these people are helping us, but they don't give a shit. They're giving you a bag of dog shit to make you smile and make you happy.
So you can go get that Louis Vuitton and that Gucci, and then
all you're doing is giving the money to the people that's lobbying them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Because the Democratic Party is going to be sitting in the polo lounge smoking a cigar with the CEOs and the owners of these companies playing on everybody. And everybody's getting fucked.
And let me tell you where they're going to make their money too. So let's say they do that, right?
Yeah.
what do the politicians right now can do? They can invest in stock market. These people, they know like for example, Pelosi. Bro, if you follow Pelosi's trading, you'll be
she's making
rich.
bank.
Yeah,
And
her
it's not
husband,
for-
right? Her
yeah.
husband. But the thing is, she knows the stuff that, or when she was still in the Congress or whatever, she knew all the laws that were going to pass by that were going to affect certain companies. So she was like, hey, sell here. Now we're going to buy here because in a month from now, guess what? This law is going to pass, is going to boom that company.
Yeah.
So then imagine if they did the reparations, right? They're like, hey, we're going to buy stock in Apple. We're going to buy stock in Gucci. We're going to buy stock in all these, because what are they going to go do? We know they're going to go spend it. They're not going to go invest it in the stock market.
They give black people reparations. 80% of them was going to be out there living a rapper's life.
Yeah, before you know it, the freaking Bill Gates, Bill Gates, also, who owns Amazon?
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos will be a trillionaire.
Oh, yes.
Like all the stuff that you
Amazon's going to be booming.
Yeah.
Apple is going to be booming.
Freaking Teslas, but people will be buying Teslas, yeah.
Dodge is going to have to come out with a whole nother Hellcat.
Yeah, exactly, yeah,
Booming.
Booming.
Booming. But but then you do have those smart folks, those smart black folks that's gonna be like, nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. We're gonna buy and sell.
You know what would be great for people to do that unfortunately is not for you, it's like a selfless act, is to get a life insurance policy. For example, if somebody were to give somebody that's 40, when they're like our age, you know, and they give you $300,000, let's say reparations, right? Instead of spending like, hey, I'm gonna get $1 million policy that's gonna cost me, let's say $3,000 a month, but I'm gonna use that money because now when I pass away, guess what? My kids are gonna become instant millionaires, and I'm gonna put that in a trust fund where that money is going to make even more money, and I'm gonna have that trust fund pay for their life insurance policy. Then we're gonna up it. We're gonna go $2 million.
Yeah, that's what the Rothschilds and Rockefellers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And it's called infinite banking.
Yeah,
or
because
family
it's
banking.
because it's like if you're my brother, you want to borrow money from the
you borrow it
trust
from
fund.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, you borrow it, but here's the thing: we'll give you $10 million to invest in whatever, but you have to let the trust open a life insurance policy on you for $40 million.
Yes,
You know?
yes, that's
so
the key.
We'll give you the $10 million,
That's the key.
but you have to put your life on the line for $40 million for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
That way, when you die, you make all that
because
money.
even if you don't pay back the $10 million,
it don't matter.
you know, it's gonna get paid back 4 times over when you pass away anyway.
Exactly.
And that's inevitable.
Yeah, and it's tax free.
And it's tax free because one day you will die.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it doesn't matter. Take
And
the
then
$10 million and run with it if you want.
Exactly. Don't pay us back.
Yeah, don't pay us back. We're gonna get it back anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
With more.
But that's how they building their foundation.
Yeah.
If a lot of people thought like that, oh man, we'd be unstoppable.
Well, I feel like so I said, it's a selfless act because a lot of times we want to spoil ourselves. We're like, oh man, but you don't think about your next generation. You're like, hey, if I sacrifice now, my next, even though I may not be here to see it, they're gonna live way better, and then they're gonna think, like they're gonna have I don't know if they will, but I mean, I hope they do. They'll be like, this is the person that got us. Like my, I didn't come from a wealthy family, but a wealthy family will come out of me.
Exactly.
And they'll be like, this is where our wealth started. My dad did this.
Yes.
For us.
I look at my family like that too as well. So, growing up in the hood, my father had a state job. He was doing highway repair. My mother had a city job. She worked for the Department of Transportation, right? So they both had decent jobs. We lived in the projects, right? So I looked at it as my parents didn't think in a way that I want to invest in a certain way. They didn't have the investment mindset. You know, they had a 9-to-5 mindset. But that's okay. Yeah. And, you know, I look at it as they paved the way for me to have the investor's mindset. You know, the reason why I think the way I think now is because of my life experiences.
Right.
You know, now because I experienced what I did in my life, now I can give my children even better lifestyle. You know, so now I can say, okay, my parents worked really hard, so I didn't have to go out there and rob and steal and stuff like that. So because I didn't have to do that, it gave me opportunity to think of other things. You know, I had opportunity to have friends. I had friends in the hood. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of friends that gangbang, but then I had a lot of friends that didn't gangbang. You know.
Yeah.
And because I didn't grow up a struggling lifestyle, I was able to broaden my horizon. You know, and that helped me meet and bump elbows and stuff with more people, and I believe that helped morph and change my mindset better. So now I can create something where my kids can grab and build my legacy up even more.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So they have a foundation.
Yes.
So that they can start building the castle or whatever.
Exactly.
Man, well, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you for coming. Where can people find you? What new projects are you working on? And if anybody will want to see your work and maybe they want to contract you, where can they find it? That way they can, and I'll put it down. Give me the information. I'll put it down on the description down below. That way you can reach out. And,
so it's Newlane Studios.
Okay.
That's my production company, but I'm also going to be building my own project soon.
Nice.
So the media company still be going, but I'm gonna really mostly be focused on real estate.
Okay.
And that became because me having real estate clients and seeing them progress and stuff like that. That's what I want to do. I want to build. I love that stuff. I was an HGTV fan since a kid, so I always wanted to do that stuff.
Well, shoot, man, we need to do this again, and then maybe next time we'll be further on your journey of building. Maybe next time you start building, you can tell us a little bit how everything is going, the process
Absolutely.
of, what have you learned? Because a lot of times whenever we're, from maybe people want to do that and they don't. They think it's one way, and then they start doing it, and you're like, oh shoot, it's not what I expected. How can you overcome hurdles and stuff like that?
Get a mentor.
For sure.
That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Get a mentor. Find somebody who is doing what you want to do and just learn from their mistakes.
Yeah.
Because instead of me starting from scratch on my own and me taking 20 years to get there, you get a mentor, you can be where you want to be in the next year.
Exactly.
Because you're learning everything that they've done right and wrong.
Right.
And you can tweak it in your own way.
And avoid.
And get there much faster. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's our time. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you found value in what we have, please subscribe. Thank you. Peace out.
Later.